So I'm here with a review for the 4-issue miniseries by Eternal Comics called Doppelganger, and it's a really interesting series. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect when I first like checked it out at Books A Million a while back. I had the first issue laying on the newsstand or whatever you want to call it. So I picked it up and I thought it was pretty interesting. The art really caught me off guard. I wasn't really expecting. It's kind of an interesting style, and the story is kind of intriguing. And it tells that classic body snatcher kind of clone story, in a little bit different way than what you're expecting. It really plays out very interestingly, and it's very cleverly done. And with most of Eterna's comics, they usually advertise it as a 4-issue miniseries or a 3-issue miniseries, but it's really more of a pitch to see if a series is popular most of the time. So I wouldn't be surprised if this series goes on longer, and the way it ends, it could easily go on longer. But they usually kind of close things up in little 4-issue arcs is how they kind of do it. And so yeah, this is basically the first 4 issues arc of Doppelganger. And just to throw this out there, the book is currently in print. On the third issue currently came out like this week in print, but online you can buy all 4 issues right now for $1 a piece through the Amazon comic book digital platform. So there is that. So yeah, you won't be able to complete the series in print quite yet, but so I will not be giving out too many spoilers of the actual story. I just wanted to give you guys a rough idea of what this is about and what to expect. So it's essentially a story of a everyday dad and wife. I mean, dad and husband. That is, he's kind of a timid guy. He's overweight. He's nothing special. He's just kind of everyday Joe. He has a dead-end job working in a cubicle, but he has a lot of potential. He could do more with his life if he wanted to. He just doesn't really have any drive to do it, and he's kind of a pushover. He lets bullies pick on him all the time in the workplace and everywhere else in life. And so the story basically follows him as he realizes that he's the target of this ancient doppelganger spirit thing, parasite-like creature that basically uses it. He basically moves through life, inserting himself into other people's lives, and getting rid of the original host and the original person, and just kind of becoming that person and taking over their life. So it's a very interesting story. I like the way it goes. I like the rule sets that are put in motion, the things that the doppelganger can do and the things the doppelganger can't do. They're quite fascinating, honestly. And it's really it's quite an interesting story. It's got a lot of really good core values to it. Values about learning self-courage and self-worth. Not letting bullies stomp over you, fighting for what you love, and not being a pushover. It's some very interesting values here that can be pulled from the story. And like I said, I really do enjoy the art. It's kind of it's not like the most detailed art in the world. It's not the most flashiest art in the world. I think it works perfect for this type of story. You every time I see a panel, you really feel like you're in an everyday world. You feel like you're just like in this panel. I feel like I'm just walking into a normal office room. Besides the fact that people are fighting each other in there, but I feel like I'm just walking into a normal office building. Nothing like super heroic. Nothing that's from a comic book or a fantasy world. It just feels very rooted in realism. Now this panel, not so much, but still. You still get the feeling that this is an everyday guy putting on some armor and trying to fight back. It's really interesting. I really like the art. I like the coloring too. The coloring has kind of this interesting pop to it, where it's not like overly saturated with colors, but they do use some interesting reds and interesting like browns and stuff. I don't know how to describe it that well, but I really did like the coloring in this book particularly well. But yeah, it definitely ends in a way you're not really expecting. It's one of those things that you might, once you get to like the last few pages, you're like, yeah, I can understand how we got to this point. But you're not gonna. I don't think you're gonna really see that you're there until you get there. That's how I was. I was like, I had an epiphany. I was like, oh yeah, I could totally see that happening, but I didn't see it until it was right in my face. So yes, this is my review for Doppelganger. I think it's a really interesting little mini-series or a little run from an independent publishing company. You can easily, these are very cheap. They're printed on newsprint, the physical copies, which is not the best quality paper in the world, but it is It does have classic, roots to what we used to use in comic books, and it's cheap. You can buy them for $1.50 in print or $1 online. So definitely check them out. Definitely give this writer and team your support, and see you guys later.